Gunshots echo in tight spaces, close range, no hesitation. A man walks through a hallway of shadows, breathing slow, controlled, almost mechanical. 3 enemies step forward, 3 seconds pass, 3 bodies hit the floor. There is no wasted movement, no visible emotion, no doubt. This is not chaos. This is control. Pain flashes in his eyes, but it doesn't stay. It gets buried, converted into something sharper. Because this man is no longer just fighting enemies. He is controlling minds, starting with his own. And in that silence, in that terrifying precision, John Wick stops being just a man. He becomes proof that when the human mind is mastered, it turns into something unstoppable. Now rewind. Before the bullets, before the suits, before the myth, there was loss. A wife taken by illness. A man who had already walked away from violence is dragged back into a void he cannot escape. In Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl explains that when suffering becomes unavoidable, the only freedom left is the way you respond. John doesn't collapse under grief, he compresses it, because grief, left unchecked, destroys, but when directed, it sharpens. This is where emotional transmutation is born. Pain is not weakness, it is raw, usable energy. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and John Wick lives inside that space. Then comes the breaking point. A dog, the final gift of love, a fragile symbol of hope. And then it is taken, violently and without reason. Something inside him snaps, but not loudly, not dramatically, silently, controlled. In the 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene writes, "Always say less than necessary." John doesn't scream or argue, he acts. Silence becomes dominance, because silence forces others to reveal themselves, and in John Wick Chapter 2, the pattern becomes clear. The loudest person in the room is always the weakest. John barely speaks, yet everyone listens. Then comes rejection, excommunication, a $14 million bounty placed on his head. The entire underworld turns against one man. Pressure rises to an unbearable level, the kind that crushes most people. But John doesn't resist pressure, he uses it. In Atomic Habits, James Clear explains that you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. John doesn't panic, he executes, reload, move, aim, repeat. Systems replace emotion. And in John Wick Chapter 3, he no longer looks like someone surviving chaos. He looks like something built for it. Then comes humiliation. Beaten, exhausted, betrayed, thrown off a building. His body breaks against reality. Bones crack. Breath turns into pain. Every movement feels like it could be the last. This is the lowest point. In Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins describes the 40% rule. When you think you are done, you are only at 40%. John doesn't rise because he feels strong. He rises because staying down is not an option he recognizes. This is identity override. You don't act based on how you feel, you act based on who you believe you are. And John Wick believes one thing: he finishes, no matter what. Then comes humiliation. Beaten, exhausted, betrayed, thrown off a building. His body breaks against reality. Bones crack. Breath turns into pain. Every movement feels like it could be the last. This is the lowest point. In Can't Hurt Me, David Goggins describes the 40% rule. When you think you are done, you are only at 40%. John doesn't rise because he feels strong. He rises because staying down is not an option he recognizes. This is identity override. You don't act based on how you feel. You act based on who you believe you are. And John Wick believes one thing: he finishes, no matter what. Then comes the peak. The legend solidifies. One man against entire armies. Precise headshots. Ruthless efficiency. In John Wick, Chapter 4, the numbers speak for themselves. Over 140 kills, each one calculated, each second optimized. This is no longer survival, this is mastery. In Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman explains the dual systems of the mind, slow thinking and fast thinking. Masters train until action becomes instinct. John doesn't think during combat. He reacts. Because thinking takes time, and hesitation costs everything. But then comes something unexpected. Not victory, not dominance, exhaustion. A man sitting alone on cold steps, bleeding, silent, tired in a way that no enemy could ever cause. Because even legends carry weight. Even control has a cost. And this is where the final shift happens. In the end, John is no longer fighting for revenge. He is fighting for peace. Purpose changes everything, because control without purpose leads to destruction, but control with purpose leads to freedom. The Alchemist suggests that when you truly want something, the universe conspires to help you achieve it, but it leaves out a harder truth. You must first conquer yourself. John Wick was never feared because of weapons or skill alone. He was feared because nothing inside him was left uncontrolled. Not grief, not anger, not fear. And that is the real lesson hidden beneath the violence. Mind control is not about manipulating others. It is about mastering the chaos within you when everything is falling apart. Because the moment you do that, you don't just survive the storm, you become it.